What's up, YouTube? This is Guy. Today I want to talk about a topic that will probably end up being a little bit of a rant. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me. Such is life. I feel like I got to get this off my chest. What we're talking about today is patina, and I don't like it. Patina is, by definition, nothing more than damage. Why would you want a watch that is damaged? Particularly, what we're talking about is buying vintage watches, specifically searching out watches with quote-unquote patina. I don't get it. I do understand that there is a market for watches with patina, that collectors do go after watches with patina. I don't understand why though. When I look at a watch with patina, all I see is a watch that's been damaged. I don't want my watches damaged. I want my watches to look as good as possible for as long as possible. And if I'm going to wear a watch that does have damage on it, I better darn well be the person that put that damage on the watch. So when I think about patina, I try to relate it to other types of collecting hobbies that I have been a part of basically my entire life. What we're talking about in particular, comic book collecting. And I know a lot of you guys are going to say comic books, that's stupid, who cares, blah blah blah. Hear me out for a minute. In comic books, when you are buying used, vintage, old comic books, it is all about condition, condition, condition. That's all that matters when it comes to comic books. I mean, there are some other factors, but ultimately it's all about condition. If you're going to buy a comic book that might be worth thousands, maybe tens of thousands of dollars, but it has quote-unquote patina, it's going to destroy the price. And that's just the way my brain has been wired, I guess, when it comes to all collecting hobbies, and that includes wristwatches. I do not want a wristwatch that has been damaged. Let's say I wanted to go and buy a, first appearance of Spider-Man comic book. That could be worth anywhere from very, very little to tens of thousands, upwards of hundreds of thousands of dollars. It all depends on the condition. If the cover has gotten wet, if that paper has gotten ripply from moisture, that is going to murder the value because of that condition problem. What if the spine of the book is wrinkled and jagged, or the corners are teared, or the cover is faded due to overexposure to UV light? All of those things bring the grade of the watch, or I'm sorry, comic book in this case, down and just destroys the value. When I look at a wristwatch that has all of this quote-unquote patina, and I'll just frankly call it what I think it is, damage, I just see the dollar signs drop. That is not reality, though. In reality, it can actually drive up the price of these watches, and I just don't understand it. So in the used or vintage watch market, there's a number of ways that you might describe patina. You might see a watch as having a tropical dial or a spiderweb dial. These are creative ways to describe the type of patina or damage that the watch has assumed over the years of its life. A tropical dial might just look splotchy or discolored. A spiderweb dial might have all kinds of crazy lines going all through it, reminiscent of a spiderweb. Those types of patinas can drive the price of the watch up for certain collectors. Not for someone like me, though. There's a more subtle type of patina that you might find that I find less objectionable, but if it were up to me, I'd rather not have it at all. There is just the discoloration of the tritium material on the markers and handsets that you will see on vintage dials that had that radioactive glow-in-the-dark material applied to them years and years and years ago. As time went on, they'd stop glowing and they might turn a little bit yellow or creamy orange, different gradations of colors over time. A lot of people really like that. So much so that brand new watches are being made to have a fake or faux patina applied to the markers and handsets to make it mimic or look like a watch that's 50, 60, 70 years old. Now, since I don't want an old watch that has patina, you can be darn near certain that I don't want a brand new watch that has a fake patina applied to it to make it look old. That's like buying a pair of blue jeans that are already ripped up, and I just can't think of any reason that I would want ripped up blue jeans. Now, I'll be honest, I've made exceptions to this rule because some watch designs are so darn good that I absolutely have to have them despite the fact that they have a fake patina. I'll use the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical that I bought not too terribly long ago. The hands and the markers on the dial do have that kind of orangey, creamy application of vintage lume. I wish it didn't though. I wish it was just a standard white Luminova lume. Unfortunately, I don't get to decide, but I do find that to be a negative on that watch. And some new watches go way too far when it comes applying fake patina. I just can't stand it in general. Now, where do we draw the line as collectors? I've made it pretty clear where I draw the line. I don't want an old vintage watch that's full of patina. To be perfectly honest, I don't have much interest in vintage watches at all. I like new watches, I like new things, that's just the way that I go. But let's assume that I was interested in vintage watches. Or let's assume we were having a discussion with one another and I was asking you, where do you draw the line? How much quote-unquote patina, or as I like to call it, damage, is too much? Is a little discoloring of the dial okay? Maybe the lume on the markers in the hands going orange but nothing else? What about once we get into the case? Or the bracelet, if it's a watch that's on a bracelet. If it's covered with scratches and dings and dents and maybe even chunks missing from the bezel, for example, is that too much quote-unquote patina? Because ultimately, that's all it really is. All of that damage is just patina, right? Where would you draw the line? For me, I most certainly wouldn't want chunks missing from the metal of the case. I wouldn't want significant damage to the bezel. I just have no interest in that. That's another interesting aspect of patina that I didn't touch on. Bezels on dive watches with aluminum inserts, they can be faded and scratched up, and that could be highly desirable to some people. Take a look at some vintage Rolex GMT Masters with the red and blue Pepsi bezel. They can fetch huge amounts of money just because the bezel has been ghosting or fading out. That is just crazy to me. I would not want the bezel of my watch to be all faded. I would be compelled to put a brand new bezel in it as soon as humanly possible if I were to buy that watch. Alright guys, don't take this as me preaching about what is right or wrong. If you're into old watches that look a little rough around the edges, if you like patina, if you enjoy collecting and hunting down vintage watches that have a certain look to them, more power to you. There's no right and there's no wrong way of how to enjoy this hobby, of how to enjoy collecting watches. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm just here to talk about my opinions on the topic. Maybe my opinion is wrong though. Let me know down in the comments. Let me know why I'm wrong if you think that I am. Respectfully, try to change my mind. Maybe there's something that I don't really understand. Maybe there's something that I haven't thought through. Why should I be interested in vintage watches that look like they've been through the ringer? In some cases anyway. I don't really get it, but there's always a chance that someone could really open my eyes and change my mind. Flip side of that coin, if you are on hashtag Team No Patina like me, let me know down in the comments. I am curious to find out, are there more of us that prefer nice, crisp, mint-looking watches? Or are there more of the other guys that prefer to have, I don't know, quote-unquote character on their watches or a story to their watches? These are all clever ways of describing why having some wear and tear on your watches is a good thing. Especially as how it relates to a used watch, i.e. patina that you didn't put on it. I'm really curious to hear what everyone thinks about this topic. For me, I am absolutely, at this point, on hashtag Team No Patina. It's not for me. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little ranty. No, I'm not trying to preach to you. I'm not trying to tell you how you should think. This is just how I think about a topic within the watch collecting hobby. And I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to help support me and my channel, there's always a list of ways that you can do that down in the description of this video and every video that I do. Number one, you can follow me on social media, be it Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. I would very much appreciate that. Number two, if you'd like to help support the channel and me personally by going to my Patreon account and making a small monthly donation, that would be outstanding. And a big thank you to all of the guys over there on Patreon right now helping me out. It means the world to me. Finally, if you like something that I've reviewed and you want to purchase it on Amazon, click my Amazon affiliate link found down below in the description before you do your shopping. If you click on that link first, I do get a small commission. Those commissions do add up, and I really appreciate everyone that has been using that Amazon affiliate link. It means the world to me. Well, that's going to wrap this up for today, so I'm going to say bye now.